Hello everybody, it's been a minute. I am at the Four Pines Hostel. I am not getting ready right now to finish up my thru hike. That's going to happen in mid-May. But what I am doing is I am going to do a 35 mile hike of the Virginia Triple Crown Loop. I have done it before. This is going to be the third time doing the Triple Crown Loop. It's going to be the fourth time doing the Virginia Triple Crown. The Virginia Triple Crown is Tinker Cliffs, McAfee Knob, the most photographed spot on the Appalachian Trail, and Dragon's Tooth. And you've seen them before in videos that I've done. You'll see them again. But this is Four Pines, and that is where I am staying, the bunkhouse. It's a nice hostel. They've made some changes to it since I was here last year, which is pretty cool. So the bubble, the Novo hikers haven't gotten here yet, but they are anticipating their arrival within the next few weeks. And I think hikers are going to like the changes that were made. Anyway, tomorrow I will be driving to the Dragon's Tooth trailhead, and I will begin my hike. It should take 3 days of hiking. I've given myself up to 4 days. It's only 34 miles, but I don't have trail legs yet, so it could be a little harder than it normally would be. But I am looking forward to it. So, goodbye, kitty cat. I think the chickens have all literally gone home to roost, but there are free-range chickens about during most of the day. They're back there somewhere now. And we still have the ducks in the pond. They don't go anywhere. So, I will see you tomorrow. Good morning, everyone. Back on the trail. This is the Dragon's Tooth, as you can see, trailhead. I'm crossing the road, and I'll be heading up North Mountain today, and then tomorrow I will be on the AT side of the loop. A new day begins. Well, I have made it to the top of North Mountain, and now I am walking along the ridgeline. Got several miles to do before I cross over to the AT. But here's a look at the trail. I have hiked this trail a few times before at different times of the year, and I have described North Mountain as boring, which it is. On the other hand, hiking at this time of year, before the trees have greened in, you really do have some nice views as you're walking the ridge line. Now, it's not the same as what it's going to be tomorrow and the day after walking the AT with Tinker Cliffs and McAfee Knob and Dragon's Tooth. But this isn't too bad. At least there's something to look at as I hike North Mountain. Well, I'm turning off the North Mountain Trail, and the Catawba Valley Trail is one of the trails that will take me to the AT. Catawba Valley actually goes down to a parking lot, and then on the other side of the parking lot, is the Andy Lane Trail, and that will go to the AT. So this trail, this orientation is basically downhill. You know, there'll be some ups, but it's basically down, which is nice. And then, of course, on the other side of the parking lot, the Andy Lane's orientation is basically going to be up, with some, you know, downward undulations too, but basically up. But that's what you do when you hike. This is a very dry section of trail, but that is a very pretty and very welcome sight. Well, it's been mostly downhill on the Catawba Valley Trail. Now I'm on the Andy Lane, and it's going to be mostly uphill with, you know, the occasional down. But the orientation is up for 3.1 miles. What a way to end the day. And once I get to the AT, I think it's another 0.8 of a mile to the shelter and camping area. But here we go. No cows today. Also no cows the last time I hiked this area. But the time before that, this area was filled with cows. There's a stream behind me. That's where they went to get a drink and cool off. Obviously not an area where hikers want to get their water from. And in the past, hikers have been chased by cows. But even the year that there were lots of them, they didn't bother me. And this year, big nothing. Still a little less than 2 miles from where I'm staying tonight. And still going uphill. Believe it or not, sometimes steps are harder than switchbacks. It's like doing a stair climber that never ends. And that's where I came from. So I've been doing this for a while. Finally done with the Andy Lane Trail. And now onto the shelter. Good morning, everybody. I just left the shelter area, Lambert's Meadow. There are 3 other people in the shelter with me, plus a 4th guy in a hammock. There are 4 college friends. There's also a family of 4 sleeping in a 4-person tent. And then late in the evening, hiker late, that is, another hammocker came in looking for a place to hang his hammock. You know, 2 good trees, not spaced out too far from each other. Anyway, today my first stop will be Tinker Cliffs, and probably after that McAfee Knob. I don't think I'm going to save McAfee till tomorrow, but as you can tell, I'm already huffing and puffing, and that's because leaving the shelter, it's uphill for a good stretch. It's uphill to the intersection with Andy Lane, and then it's uphill to Tinker Cliffs. But a new day begins. See that up there? That's where I'm headed. It's going to take a series of switchbacks to get me up to that elevation. And that's not even the cliffs. On the other side of it will be Tinker Cliffs. I never really get tired of looking at the view from Tinker Cliffs. Seeing the farmland tucked in, nestled between ridge lines. An amazing view. The trees aren't greened in yet, but you can see buds at the end of the branches. Where I am, the mountain laurel is nice and green, and by the time the first wave of northbound thru-hikers hit this area in a week or two, they could very well be in full bloom. Catawba Shelter, my home for the evening. There is another shelter just 1 mile up the trail, and it's early enough I certainly could do that mile. The only problem is the reports are there's no water at that shelter, and there is here, so don't want to take the chance and then have to hike back a mile, because I definitely needed water. So home sweet home for the night. Good morning, everyone. I just left camp. Now, the last time I did this hike, I completed it in 3 days. This is day 3. However, if today is as warm as the last 2 days have been, it looks like it's going to be a 3.5 day hike. But we'll see. Whether I push on to Dragon's Tooth, which is the last of the Virginia Triple Crown sites, when I get to basically a junction, I'll see what time it is and determine whether I can make it up to Dragon Tooth, and more importantly, make it back in daylight, and how tired I am. So today, if I don't go all the way to Dragon's Tooth, will just be a hiking day. But a new day begins. Taking a little snack break. Got a nice rock to sit on, and Don't know how well you can see it through the trees, but a nice little view of the farmland below. But break time is over. Time to get hiking again. So here's some nice pasture land, and it looks like easy hiking. But the reality is the grade is fairly steep, and it's entirely exposed. Now, when you get through this side, you go through the woods for a little bit, and then you have to go up an equally steep pasture land, exposed. It's warm, but it's not super hot yet, so at least I have that going for me. Once again, one of my favorite things, hiking to the sound of rushing water. A nice spot to stop for a little bit of lunch and to fill my water bottles. I just came out of the trail to a road crossing, as you can hear, and that little pine tree points in the direction of the Four Pines Hostel, which I stayed at before beginning my hike a couple of days ago. But also last year, after a wet, dreary day, I dragged myself, it's actually about a mile to the hostel, up the road about a mile, so I could get washed up, warm, dry, and some good food. But now I'm heading that way because my hike continues. Haven't had one of these in a while, and I'm still about a mile and a half away from Dragon's Tooth. This is Lost Spectacles Gap, which is basically the go or no-go point. If I've reached this spot by a certain time, I go. If I don't, I don't. Well, I am here. It's early enough. So I'm on my way to Dragon's Tooth. 0.7 mile, but a very difficult 0.7 mile. Well, I made it, and I am beat. Dragon's Tooth. And now I get to hike back to my car. A couple of people are camping here tonight, and this is a good spot. And they're walking up to Dragon's Tooth without the burden of a full pack. Lucky them. I am hiking back to my car. I am exhausted, but at least I get to hear the sound of running water. which makes the additional mileage go by a little bit better. Well, here I am back in my car. I am exhausted. I'm glad I did it in 3 days, but this hike certainly reinforced something that I already knew, and that is trail legs are hard to achieve and they're easy to lose. 2 out of the 3 days were over 10 miles. The first day was over 12 and a half, and today was 11 and a quarter on the nose. And that's going to be too much when I get back on trail. So it tells me that at least, for a little while, should stick to the 8 to 10 mile range. But that was one of the purposes of this trip, to give me some altitude, which you don't get in Delaware, but also to gauge my level of fitness. So that's it for tonight, and that's it for this trip.